I've been with the City of Cuyahoga Falls for 12 years now, and in Cuyahoga Falls we have two divisions. We have street and sanitation. I'm in charge of both of those. When I started here in 2002, we just used dry salt. When we were fighting snowstorms, we didn't have onboard liquid or anything like that. We did have a brine supply here they had used in flushing some of the sidewalks and parking lots and that sort of thing. But when they were fighting a storm, they weren't using any liquid, so we had dry material. The old style units, you just had a few controls in the cab, and you had a door on the back of it that you can open up and close depending on your type of storm. A lot of times guys didn't get out of the trucks, so they just put that door in the back at one setting and then just left it. So we're using lots of salt. At one of the trade shows, we came across Epoke, and Bell Equipment was there as the vendor. And what caught our attention was the Epokes. They were a salt hopper that was up on its own legs. Our old style hoppers, when we were taking them in and out, it was cumbersome and it wasn't too safe. So we kind of saw this leg system, and that was like, wow, let's look a little more into this. That's where we met Dave Johnson, and we set up a meeting. He came to see us and to explain more about his equipment and the Epokes and what they can do for us. As a result of that meeting, he lent us a demonstrator unit. He had a demo that was close by. He let us have it for a month, and within that short period of time, I saved $5,000 in salt. So from that point is when I started to look at our budget overall and come up with some scenarios so I could take it further to the finance director, to the service director, the mayor and council to get funding to purchase these units. And my worst case scenario was that these units paid for themselves in 4 seasons. So really that's a great return on investment right there. What we end up finding out was that these units are paying for themselves in 1 season. We had a bad year like this year. If we bought a unit, it paid for itself already. I'm not afraid of technology. I like trying it. It certainly has its benefits, and it's just right up my alley. But there's a lot more things you go into when you're buying new equipment. When you're bringing new equipment into a shop, you've got to sell it to your guys too. If they don't accept a new piece of equipment and they don't use it properly, if they have the wrong attitude about it or whatever, they can make or break you. Yes, it's going to be a little more complicated. You've got more things that this unit can do, but you want it to be as easy as possible. So the in-cab controls, it needs to be simple. It needs to be real easy for them to determine what their salt amounts, what they want to use to increase or decrease, and to add liquid or what amounts of liquid you want to put on there. So that part of it had to be simple, or I knew there was not going to be any way these guys would want that. There's been a lot of good thought that really has gone into the engineering of these machines, and some of the things that this unit gives us versus our old style hoppers, it allows their driver to put just the precise amount down on the roads where he wants it. Our old style hoppers would put out a stream of salt that it was kind of a fan pattern. So if you wanted to get more of your left lane, you were also getting more salt to the right. Even though there wasn't road there, it was going off of the road into your ditches, onto someone's devil strip or tree lawn. So you were wasting a lot of salt. This unit will allow you, with the symmetry, it'll allow you to take that pattern and shift it over so you weren't losing anything off to the right, but you can also get more to your left. If you wanted to do 1 lane, 2 lane, or 3 lane, you can do that with an Epoke. No matter what lane you're in, you can hit up to 3 lanes with that single unit, single pass. Now this equipment lets us use liquids to add to our salt. So salt needs liquid to activate, or it's going to sit there, it's going to kind of create its own brine, and it takes a while. But if you're adding liquid to it right now, I mean, you're jump starting that process. It's gonna be working the moment it hits the pavement. So that's another big difference between an Epoke and our old hoppers. You kind of didn't know user to user how much they were putting out. You kind of saw what was disappearing from the salt barns and that kind of thing, but every driver was different. In this case, you had real accurate totals, so at the end of each shift, they just write down what their liquid usage was, what their dry usage was. When I first went to council, we got approval for 3 units, Epoke 3500s, that are single axle units. We have since added and completed our whole fleet. We have 16 large salt and plow trucks. All of them are Epokes now, and some of them are on tandems. Our tandem axles have the Epoke 4400s, which have a lot of liquids. They have 4 liquid tanks on them, an interior, an exterior, and 2 side tanks. So lots of liquid, and that's what we like to do here. We have pretty much an unlimited supply of salt brine here, so my thoughts were to maximize our liquid usage here. That in turn would help us cut down annually on our salt budget here. We have one 4902, which will let us do the same things as the 4400s. We can put brine only on there if we want to go out and anti-ice. We could pre-wet the salt as it's coming off of the unit. And we've even found a way that we can do both of those at the same time. So when we're out pre-wetting the salt, we can also turn on the anti-icing side of it and really put down lots of liquid. I don't have to go to council or the mayor or the service director and tell them that we're out of salt or we're low on salt. So really the Epoke coming in here has been a blessing, and it's helped our budget. And I can prove annually, if I'm only budgeting for 9,000 tons of salt, well, guess what? I'm not going back asking for more. It is working. We are saving. We used to be 18,000, now we're about 9,000. So it says it all.